Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of Reality Talks, and today with us we have ourselves Chris, and in this episode we'll be talking about the life of an expat in Mumbai. So join us. Welcome Chris.
Here we go.
Do they dupe you?
What's that?
Eh? Do they charge you more?
Probably yes. I'm sure they do.
And are
They
you
say they
aware of
don't.
it?
They say they say they don't charge me more, but I'm quite relaxed about that. I'm sure it's a little bit more. I get the slight foreigner tax.
But after 20 years, don't you feel you shouldn't be paying more?
Maybe I shouldn't, but it's not something that I sweat too much about. It's all okay. It's part of the foreigner tax that sometimes you have to pay.
I would have sent the maid if I were in your place. To
Yeah.
buy these things.
Maybe, but I don't know. It's part of living here is going shopping and doing the whole bargaining thing, and I complain.
That's the Indian experience. No?
That's it, exactly. That's the Indian experience. But I'm not quite as hardcore as you guys are. Like
That's how we save.
I won't bargain down like for like a couple of rupees. If I pay a little bit extra, it's all good. No problem.
And do they know you that a Gora comes and you can,
Well, I think they know I'm a Gora. So, and as I said, I'm sure they charge me a bit more, but it's all good.
how hard is it to converse with them, and get to know your needs, get
Well-
them to know your needs?
I think the biggest regret is that I haven't learned Hindi. I've been living here on and off for 20 years,
Huh?
and I enjoy speaking foreign language. I speak Spanish,
Hmm.
read Spanish at university,
Hmm.
but for some reason with Hindi, I've been very lazy. I could say I've been busy with the business and whatever.
You never wanted to?
Of course, I think Hindi's beautiful. I love the way that when people speak, particularly in Mumbai, how they mix English with Hindi, and it's this kind of this flow. It's really funny to listen to how you have these kind of sentences of English mixed with Hindi. So I would love to speak Hindi well.
Sometimes we feel that while conversing in English, those minute details you can explain better in Hindi, but you don't have any such words in English.
Sure. Yeah, exactly right.
What about Spanish? You said you know Spanish.
No, I speak Spanish. And when I speak Spanish, it's 100% Spanish. It's I don't mix Spanish with English.
And do you feel that Spanish is better in explaining yourself compared to English?
No, English is my mother tongue. Of course, I express myself better in English. Spain has some cool phrases. It has some good hand gestures as well. Some hand gestures mean certain things, which enrich the language.
We Indians do also have
Yeah.
head gestures.
Yeah. But in England and with English, we're quite boring in that sense. Hey, we have a few gestures, international ones.
Like
Like the most famous,
the middle finger.
the middle finger. But apart from that, we don't have that many.
Nice. Where's the park?
The park is this way.
This way.
We'll cross and go that way. Hopefully it's open.
You know how to ride a car, right?
Drive a car, yeah.
Drive a car, yes. And ride a bike?
Don't know how to ride a bike.
I remember talking to you about this, and
What's that?
I remember talking to you about this, riding a bike, and you said there were some safety concerns. I mean,
That was what?
safety concerns. People usually believe that riding a bike is unsafe.
Definitely. Ever since I was however old, or when I first started sort of becoming more independent, I remember my mum and dad said, "You're never going to ride a bike. Bicycle, fine, but a motorbike, because it's, yeah, of course it's more dangerous. Look at the statistics. I'm sure if you look at accidents, if you're on a bike, there's more chance of you
Of
dying.
course, you're more exposed
Of course,
to
you're more exposed to
everything.
bike. Now, in India, in the cities, the traffic moves a lot slower. So I guess the risk is not so high. But given the choice between, in the UK, between using a bike and using a car, the safer option is obviously a car, no? So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Yeah. In India, getting a car is still something that a middle class family dreams of. So it's
Of
not that
course.
easy.
Of course, a car is expensive. I mean, I've seen in India, Thailand the same, Southeast Asia, you have families of four, all on a motorbike, right? Needs must. But again, traffic, particularly in the cities, is a lot slower, so there's less risk. So about my
Early days in India,
in India.
how did you uh, come to India? I mean, what was the thought? What was what was going on, and why were you in India?
So I first came in 2002. I think it was in September. And I was doing a 1 year sabbatical, if you like, away from work, which a lot of people from the UK do.
Okay.
They generally do that sort of before university or after university, before starting work. I did it differently. I'd already worked for 3 years, but I wanted to take a year out. And the first 4.5 months I spent in India. And I wanted to do some volunteer work. So I ended up volunteering at a school in Bandra.
How young were you?
Sorry?
How young were you at that time?
I was actually 27 or maybe 28.
Ah, nice.
So yeah, I'd done a few years of work, university, done a few years of work, and wanted to do something different. I loved traveling. I'd been to Latin America. I traveled a lot in Europe, and I wanted to go on an exciting year-long trip. And came to India, and I didn't want to just travel around like a normal tourist, if you like. I wanted to do something which would be good, meaningful, and so I volunteered at this school in Bandra in Mumbai.
So that school took 4.5 months, you said?
I was in the school maybe for 3 months. I think I travelled for a little bit, so yeah, about 3.5 months.
What were you doing there?
I was just help. It was a school for underprivileged kids from the slums nearby. And I don't know, I talked a bit of English, a bit of maths, a bit of everything. And yeah, it was eye-opening, you know, people with not very much and still seemed happy, young kids, right? And yeah, it was a good experience to.
But you still went back to your place after that.
Yeah, well, then after the 4 months, I then did a bit of traveling in India, and then I went to Southeast Asia, traveled there for 3 months, then went to Australia for a month, New Zealand, the US, and then went back to the UK.
Okay, quick question, rapid fire. Out of all these countries, which one treated you the best?
Difficult to say, in different ways.
Hospitality, let's say.
That's a very interesting question, because on the surface you would say Thailand or Malaysia or even Vietnam treated me the best, because you get the famous Thai smile, the famous hand greeting and the smile, and everyone is friendly to you. Whereas in India, people are you have to earn a smile.
Some street cred, if you say.
Well, not quite street cred. I think it's more that people here are not so fake. Okay. I think when you get this is one of the great things about India is when you get a smile, it's a genuine smile.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, if you normally go into the shop and buy something, they're not going to give you, generally speaking, they're not going to say, "Oh, hello, sir. Good morning. How are you? Oh, thank you very much, sir."
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably grunt at you and just, you buy something, they give it to you and off you on your way.
Okay, the transaction ended there.
It's fine, but at least it's genuine. You get a sense in other countries and in the UK that the smile is part of it's part of the customer service.
Mhm.
Whereas in India, when you get a smile, it's a genuine one. Um, which on balance, I think I prefer.
It's a nice place. I mean,
Yeah.
finding such greenery in Mumbai is difficult.
I mean, Mumbai does have its green spots.
Mm.
I mean, I think compared to other cities, there aren't enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a few isolated places like this where you can sort of escape the chaos.
This is still one of the costliest areas in Mumbai, right? Khar.
Yeah, we're in a slightly upmarket place. Khar and Bandra,
Mm-hmm.
Juhu, Vilepali to an extent, I guess is slightly more expensive areas.
But that's good, no? You find all of this and not the concrete jungle.
But it's hardly a green paradise, though, is it? It's still got brick. There's not that much green. So okay, now we're being told we're not allowed to film.
इंटरव्यू ले रहे हैं उनका.
What's the problem?
अलाउड नहीं है. कहीं पे बैठ के कर सकते हैं, सिर्फ घूम के नहीं, सिर्फ बैठ के बेंच में.
There we go. Indian bureaucracy.
आप बता दो एक स्पॉट में बैठ के जहाँ पे घूमेंगे नहीं, कोई और नहीं आना चाहिए, कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. हाँ, तो परमिशन कहाँ से लेना बताओ. हाँ, बीएमसी ऑफिस थोड़ा नजदीक है अभी यहाँ पे. समझ रहे हैं. नहीं, शूट घूम के शूट करना थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है, समझ रहे हैं. अब बता दो कि कहीं एक स्पॉट जहाँ पे ठीक है, पीछे कोई नहीं रहना चाहिए. 10 मिनट में निकल जाएंगे. हाँ, पक्का. हम घूमेंगे नहीं. लेट्स सिट समवेयर, वी वोंट वॉक अराउंड. ओके, सामने मत लेना. चाय पानी.
I need a translator.
ये वो
Yeah. Done.
ऑलराइट, चलो, थैंक यू सो मच. जरूर. बस हम देखो 40 तक निकल जाएंगे और 10 मिनट. थैंक यू सो मच. Only when I took the stubborn tone that even I was in the government, okay, and all of this is getting recorded in camera. Please do not, persuade and for the another $100 to give it to the sweeper. Then he left us alone. But yeah, I mean, is this how? Is this very common in other places too? I mean, getting things done with such process.
Bribery happens everywhere, but not at this lower level. You wouldn't be able to bribe, whether it be like a guy like this or a policeman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that would work. But at a higher level, hey, of course, we have lobbyists, people lobbying parliamentarians to get laws passed through at a higher level.
Has that gotten more difficult? I mean, to do such a thing in the current times.
What do you mean? What's such a thing?
For them to do corruption,
I mean,
or is it still the same?
I don't know. I don't know, but of course, at a high level, corruption happens. But at a lower level, you would just never. I mean, we don't have petty rules like here in India. You wouldn't have somebody coming up to you in a park saying you can't film something because it just doesn't happen. There are a lot of petty rules here in India, which is
actually
frustrating.
Legally speaking, they can't stop you. It's a public area, and public area you can film it.
Right.
There's no restriction. But again, I'm still doubtful because this is under BMC's jurisdiction. So, I mean, they might have their own rules.
Should we sit down?
So, yeah. Karthik just now said something in Hindi. Do you understand such bits?
My Hindi is very minimal.
Let's say something. Let's say something.
No chance.
Okay.
No chance. I know a few swear words, but that's probably not appropriate.
Okay. Um, Talking about Hindi and back to India.
Uh,
You said you went all over the world and
yeah.
you were there in India for 4.5 months back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
Mm.
when did uh, that thought came to your mind? That you want to set something up here.
So I'd met my business partner
Mhm.
during those first 4.5 months, Krishna.
Mm.
We met the first few weeks I was in Mumbai. I went for a drink,
Mm.
and he was waiting the table.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the next day, I was in the local park,
Hmm.
and there was a group of people playing cricket, and I was just watching.
Mm.
And Krishna recognized me
Mm.
and said, "Hey, do you want to play?" And then I played cricket with him and his friends, and we became friends from there. So he was somebody that I kept in touch with, and I knew from the start was a good guy.
This is back when?
This is back in 2002, 2003 when I was here.
Okay.
Um, but I wasn't thinking of coming back to India. I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking more broadly what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sure I didn't want to be in the UK for a number of reasons.
One being,
One being the weather.
isn't that good there? I mean, the cold and
It's not super cold, but it's more that the weather is unpredictable. You never know if it's going to rain,
okay.
and it just feels very gloomy. It's like here in India, certainly Mumbai, you have these blue skies,
Mm-hmm.
nice days, and in the UK, it can get quite depressing. I never enjoyed the winter in the UK of scraping ice off my car before going to work.
Okay.
So I was
Back to your story. I mean, 2002.
so 2002.
Krishna.
So yeah, so we met. So we became friends. We kept in touch,
Mm-hmm.
but I had no plans to come back to India. I needed to work, but I had no plans of working in India. And then I went to Brazil
Okay.
in January 2004, and I was in Rio and in Rio de Janeiro, and I went on what was called a favela tour, a slum tour,
Slum tour.
where they take you through the favelas of Rio
Brazil.
de Janeiro. And I found the experience really interesting, seeing a different side of the country, seeing how different people lived. And then there was the obvious connect with Mumbai. With Mumbai is famous for many things, and one of the things it's famous for is its slums.
Slums.
I don't know. I
The
think
biggest thing that we.
well, not just that, but the amount of people that live in slums. At that time, I think it was 50% or more of the people in Mumbai lived in what you would call slums, i.e., land that was not owned by you, that was just um, owned by the government, and people had built their shacks. So, whatever the technical word for slums are, people lived in them. So, I thought, okay, that's interesting. And also, Mumbai, it's not like Delhi, which is very rich culturally. It doesn't have that much to do.
That's strange. You say Delhi is more culturally rich?
Delhi is culturally more things to see. Like as a tourist, more
Okay,
people
as a
come.
tourist, yes.
As a tourist, there's
Definitely.
more things to see in Delhi.
More attractions and sightseeing places.
In Mumbai, what does Mumbai has the Gateway of India?
That's it.
Well, I mean, other landmarks you could argue
The
Mahalakshmi
British
Temple.
architecture and
Of course, sure. But that's the same in Delhi. That's the same in many places. Calcutta
yes.
has the same. Mumbai doesn't have that much for a tourist as well. So that was like, okay, that's interesting. So then I came back in 2004, end of 2004, and told Krishna, we are gonna start taking tourists around the slums.
Your idea? It was your idea?
It was definitely my idea.
Okay.
He claims otherwise sometimes, but it was definitely my idea.
I would like to hear the story from him, and I'm pretty sure I heard the story and it was his idea.
Yeah, it was like, yes, Chris, we have to do this. We have to, yeah.
So the enthusiasm was his.
He was very like, of course, no, it's skeptical. You really want to do this? Are you sure about this? And so what I did, I then came back to Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
and it was then trying to find, okay, where should we do this? And it became quite clear quite soon that Dharavi was the obvious place. It was the biggest slum in potentially
Asia.
India, yeah, Asia. I think there's a bit of an argument about that now, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly at the time it was the most obvious place. And so yeah, it was the biggest. It was reasonably close to the Colaba, which is where most of the tourists stay. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit far, but not too far. And so I then spent 3 weeks. I managed to find someone to take me through all the alleys of Dharavi for 3 weeks, and it was a fascinating place. Both
How?
in both in terms of the industry, there were all these small scale industries. There were recycling. There was some people making aluminium cans. There was the pottery. There were women making these papadas. They say here
Mm-hmm.
poppadoms. Um, and just the small narrow alleys, seeing how people live. Just a fascinating walk through the community. And to me, it was like from the start, it was a no-brainer. This is interesting, and this will work. Um,
I think for most of the Indians, it would still be hard to digest that. Uh, why would anyone pay for a
right.
visit to slum? I mean,
Sure.
what's your take?
For me, it's what's tourism about? Why do people go to countries? It's
Mm-hmm.
partly to see the sights, to understand the history, to learn about the history,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more also to understand the people, to get a sense of how, how the country, how the city, how the place is. For a long time, people go to markets. You'll see in The Lonely Planet,
Mm-hmm.
which was at the time the most famous guidebook,
Mm-hmm.
people would want to go to markets to get a sense of the atmosphere in a local market. So this was just another a kind of a bigger sense of taking that to the next level and seeing how people lived. As I said, more than 50% of people in Mumbai live in slums. So to understand Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
I
You
think
have to go
you
there.
have to go to the slums to understand that. And it's a humbling experience, seeing people who have materially not very much, living in a tiny space,
Mhm.
yet apparently happy. I'm sure that, of course, they have their challenges and problems.
Maybe that's where you came of the name of the company,
Of
Reality.
course, yeah. Of course, there were various names we had. One of them, Not the Norm Tours and Travel.
What?
Yeah. Because when you create a new company, you have to give three. At the time, you had to give three different names to the government,
Okay.
and the first was
Was
Reality.
it up to them to select one
No,
of
no, but just in case there was a company with a similar name,
Okay, the
then
trademark
the,
things.
whatever it was, yeah. So first was Reality Tours and Travel, and then we also had a few others.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's new.
what's that?
That's new.
Yeah.
What were the other two?
I don't. One was definitely Not the Norm. Not the
Not the
Norm
norm.
Tours and Travel.
Ah.
So when we first started, it was quite controversial. Not with not with our guests or not with the foreigners, because the slum tourism by that point is said it happened in Brazil
Mm-hmm.
and in other parts of the world as well. But within India, it was controversial for the authorities, the fact that we were taking tourists to the slums.
And yeah, I mean, even the first thought that might come to them or even me was that you're showing the bad side of India to the
Right.
foreigners.
Right. So that's people say poverty tourism.
Yeah.
You're showing the poverty. You're kind of laughing at the people. So, are you poor person? Oh, let's take some photos of these poor people. So we were sensitive to that. And from the very start, we had maybe after a couple of weeks or a few months, we quickly adopted a no camera policy. Within
Dharavi?
Or within the Dharavi tours. At that point, we were only doing Dharavi tours, so we didn't allow any photography, which I think helped. But but more with sort of the other issues around the ethics of it. Again, I say, and I always say, we're not showing the poverty. We're showing the spirit of the people of Dharavi. We're showing their hard work. We're showing how entrepreneurial they are. We're showing the businesses. We're showing how, you know, despite living in a small space, people are positive. There's a sense of community. So I always say we were showing that, and we weren't showing poverty.
Was it hard to explain this particular thing, all of this, to the Indian masses or the locals there?
We did, and some of them we had some very bad press. One notably, we had I'm not sure if it still exists. There was a channel called Times Now.
It still exists.
Still exists, and it is my favorite man Arnab still in charge.
Goswami. That guy.
At the time, he was also the guy in charge.
Okay.
I wasn't in the country at the time. I was traveling. But we had Krishna took a group of tourists and Times Now filmed it. And then there was a TV debate later that evening.
From Arnab himself?
From Arnab was leading the conversation. Okay. And there was Krishna and there was one of our guests. And they were talking about the experience. And the line that Times Now took was that this is poverty tourism. And Arnab in particular was going, you know, we're selling poverty. They got somebody from the Delhi Ministry of Tourism that came on TV and said that Krishna and myself should be put in prison because what we were doing was disgusting. So Krishna was saying, you know, trying to defend it, and the guest also defended it, but they weren't interested. I think at that time we hadn't evolved. If we said that we were going to use the profits to put programs in the community, but at that point we hadn't done anything because we'd just started. So
hard to advocate your business,
right? Exactly. But I would the main part of our policy is 80%. So 80% of our profits go into the community. But at that time we hadn't really done anything. So, but I would still argue we're not showing the poverty. We're showing the spirit and the sort of
going back a little bit. You know, we talked about we were saying that you have established your company at this point when this happened, or nothing happened. No.
Well, we had set up the company, which in itself was an interesting challenge, because we had to set up a private limited company. We had to do that so that I was able to get a visa to work.
And which visa was that? So
I had a work visa and employment visa, which the work visa was reasonably straightforward to get. There were no restrictions at that time. Things have changed. There were no restrictions on what was the minimum salary allowed. You were
allowed to stay here in India for as long as you want?
No, I mean, they gave me initially, I think, a 1 year and then a 2 year visa. It was like 1 year, 2 year at a time, but that was quite straightforward.
Setting up the company, how long did it take?
The process took a few months. I don't remember. It could have been 4 or 5 months, but it was a little bit complicated because I didn't know an accountant or a lawyer to really help us at the start. So I was drafting the legal documents. I was going to the company, to the government offices and speaking to the officers and like drafting the.
Was it hard to communicate with them?
Yeah, I mean, Krishna was there to help, but that wasn't easy. But it was a challenge as well. Looking back, it's something I'm glad I did, to understand a bit more about the famous Indian government red tape.
Quick question: do you have to slide money under the table for some of the work to be done?
Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I wasn't sliding the money. That's why it took some time. I don't know. Yeah, at that time things were there was more money, I think, going under the table than now. But anyway, eventually we found an accountant that helped us kind of finalize the documents. But yeah, it was fun.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
Here we go.
Carter Road. After you. और एक बार पूछिए
सर न्यूज़ क्या चीज का बना रहे हैं आप लोग?
न्यूज बना रहे, इंटरव्यू ले रहे हैं इनका। ये बहुत सालों से इंडिया में है
जी
और इन्होंने इंडिया में एक कंपनी भी सेटअप की है,
जी
तो कितना मुश्किल है एंड कैसा फील लगता है? 20 साल हो चुके हैं इन्हें इंडिया में,
जी
ये अभी भी हिंदी नहीं सीख पाए हैं, तो कैसा चलने फिरने में कैसे मुश्किलें आती है,
जी
यही सब इनसे पूछा जा रहा है अभी।
जी
और इन्होंने ही सबसे पहले स्लम टूरिज्म स्टार्ट किया था
जी
इंडिया में, धरावी में दिखाना। तो वही पूछा जा रहा है कि हम इंडियंस लोग हमेशा सोचते हैं कोई पैसे दे के स्लम क्यों देखने जाएगा, तो क्या थॉट था, फॉरेनर्स क्यों देखने आते हैं, क्या हम लोग ऑफेंड होते हैं इस चीज से कि आप गरीबी दिखा रहे हो, इंडिया का अच्छा चीजें नहीं दिखा रहे हो,
जी
तो वो भी कैसा है, तो यही सब उनसे पूछा जा रहा है।
बहुत अच्छा सर, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, कम से कम आप ये अंदर की बात पूछ रहे हैं।
हाँ, मतलब होना तो चाहिए ये
जी
सब
जी
कन्वर्सेशन,
जी
लोगों को भी पता चले क्या थॉट्स हैं।
जी
Is it easier to find such a short distance transport in UK?
Yeah, a taxi will take you anywhere. But what's different is the transport like this, traveling by auto rickshaw is it's bumpy, but
Yeah.
it's cool. It's like this is one of the fun things, particularly when you first come to India. It's like traveling by rickshaw, or as the foreigners like to say, travel by tuk tuk. It's
It's
yeah,
very convenient, isn't it?
it's less about the convenience. I said you can get a. I mean, they're everywhere. Inconvenience in the sense that they're everywhere, so it's easy to get one. But it's just fun, cheap way to get
Yeah,
around.
cheap way to get around. I mean,
Yeah,
I think taxi would be much costlier. And
of course.
below taxi, I mean, is there any cheaper alternative to taxi in UK?
Not in the UK. I mean, in some places in Thailand, you can get on the back of a motorbike, a motorbike taxi.
Hmm.
But in the UK, yeah, it's just taxi. I mean, yeah, buses,
My
of course.
my friend lives in Ireland, and she was saying that she has to walk. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no other
yeah.
option.
Which in a way is better, no? Do a bit of exercise.
Yeah, I mean,
But the trouble about India, it is difficult to walk around.
it
You
is.
don't have like the pavements, and you know, it's yeah, they're not continuous.
It's not structured, well structured.
No, it's not structured very well. It's not an. I mean, compared to some cities, like compare Mumbai to Phnom Penh, for example, it's easier to walk around. But generally speaking, Mumbai compared to where I'm from in the UK, Birmingham or London, for example,
Hmm.
it's not easy to get around on foot.
How do you go to office every day?
I get the train every day.
The
So I
train from car to.
from Car West where I'm staying, I live 2 minutes walk from the station.
Mhm.
I get a train 2 steps down. I get a first class pass because I'm a princess. But it can still be busy.
Yes,
And then I got a 15-minute walk to the office in Darrowby. But it can get crowded. The train in particular can get crowded. And even walking to Darrowby, Darrowby is a busy place. So it's not a nice, relaxing walk to the office. It's
Talking about the locals first, local
Yeah.
train first.
Yeah.
Mumbai locals are the busiest. I mean, one of the busiest. I mean, how was it?
I think over the years it's got better. Less people travelling by train. Certainly, that's my experience.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, if you go in the wrong time, Mumbai is a peninsula, so everyone is either travelling south to come to work or travelling north to after work.
Yes.
So if you get caught in the wrong time, it can get very busy.
I mean, isn't it obvious if you are going to office, you'll get caught at the wrong time. Even you are coming south.
Right?
So,
It gets
so
hot.
gets hot.
It gets hot. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, but
you've been to Delhi, right?
I have been to Delhi. Yeah.
There are metros there.
Yes.
And I mean, that's better, of course.
I mean,
You-
the metro system in Delhi works pretty well, and it's a lot less crowded than it is in Mumbai. And I know in Mumbai they're building the metro,
Mhm.
so maybe I'm sure things will change. But right now, the main mode of transport for most people is the train. and it gets pretty damn busy. I mean now, but even with Uber, they have some kind of meter. You pay partly based on how long you're in the vehicle and how far you go. So in that sense, it's the same as everyone.
Mm.
Now, what happens sometimes with me, they don't want to put the meter on. In Mumbai, generally speaking, they're a lot better in putting the meter on. So I pay the same as everybody else. But in other cities, in Delhi, for example, hardly anyone use the meters. So as a foreigner, you're gonna get screwed. Um, and in Mumbai, I know again sometimes they won't put the meter on and whatever. If I'm in the mood, I'll have a fight. And if I'm not in the mood, I'll bargain them down to a reasonable price.
Has this ever crossed your mind that if you were fluent in Hindi, then you might
Sure.
have gotten your way of?
Of course,
Huh?
of course. That's one of the downsides of not speaking the local language. Of course.
Do you understand Marathi? Then, no?
No,
No.
no, no. They
In
all sound the same to me. La 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 la.
Mumbai, right? I mean, when I came first to Mumbai a couple of years back, I was very shocked, taken aback, because I was always thought of huge roads and celebrities going through the cars every day, and it was very difficult for me to think that celebrities will go or use these roads. When I came to Mumbai, I realized, I mean, it's all bad here.
Yeah, no, completely.
Compared to Delhi, it's very bad.
It is indeed, yeah.
Do you come to this place often?
Yeah, reasonable. It's a nice Sunday walk, walking on the walking on the promenade here.
Is this too recent? All of this, the development, be the roads, the coastal roads, and the promenades being redeveloped, and all of this. Is it too recent, or Mumbai was always under construction?
Mumbai's always been under construction to a certain extent, but I think in recent years
Hmm.
that's grown.
Hmm.
I mean, there's this bridge in the background. They're
Hmm.
building a bridge. I'm not
This is
even.
going way back to Bandra and then Warsaw.
Wow.
So
Yeah. And they did the Banja Worli Bridge. I mean, that
yes,
must be 15 years now.
15 years.
50, I think
Okay.
so. I don't know. It's been there sometime. I think 15 years, 10, 15 years.
Mhm.
So yeah, Mumbai's changing, and within the city, there's lots of construction. Always lots of construction going on. So the city is changing, and it's not changing. Like if I walk down, there's a famous road here, Hill Road.
Mm.
It feels like nothing's has changed. Some of the shops change. Yeah, sometimes there's some bigger buildings, but you, the essence of the city, I don't think has changed.
What's the essence of the city? Let's talk about Hill Road
Okay,
instead.
wow, yeah. I mean, to me, it's about hardworking people. People working hard. Life's tough, but people getting on with life and yeah, working hard. And I think Dharavi sums
The
that.
hustle culture.
What's that?
The hustle culture. Do you
Yeah,
know about
exactly.
this term? Oh, I
Yeah, of
mean,
course.
everyone in India,
Uh,
they know that you come to Mumbai to hustle. So
I couldn't tell you the differences between Mumbai and other cities. To me, Indian people are hardworking. Yeah, they like to bargain. They like to hustle, but they're hardworking.
nice to hear from a Gora.
It's true. You see the people working hard, doing dirty work,
Hmm.
doing what they needed to get by.
Would you call yourself as an expat?
I would say technically I'm an expert. I'm somebody who's not Indian living in India.
Are you okay with this?
I know.
You're okay with it. Talking about the smell and you being okay with it,
Yeah.
what are the big adjustments that you had to make? Had to make uh, to live in India, settle in India.
For me, it hasn't been a big problem um, in terms of
See, you look red right now, so let's
yeah
talk about the heat.
the heat. In terms of the heat, I much prefer the weather here than I do in the UK. In the,
That
in
more temperate
yeah,
and,
it's
and
hot, doesn't rain, it's not cold. In the UK, I used to hate waking up on a winter's morning, scraping ice off the car, going to work. So I definitely prefer the heat. So in that sense, Mumbai is great. I don't think I've ever worn a kind of a sweater or a
in
jersey
Mumbai
in
you won't
Mumbai.
be wearing a sweater, of course,
You don't need to.
but in Delhi,
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. In Delhi, I think it would be very different. I wouldn't like the weather I don't like the weather. I know I don't like the weather in Delhi in the winter.
Delhi is extreme of
Yeah.
everything.
For Mumbai, the weather suits me perfect. I don't mind the humidity. I don't mind having a bit of a sweat. Um, so in that sense, the weather for me is not a problem.
Yes.
Um,
What are the other aspects that you have to, inculcate the changes and with your lifestyle?
the food is obviously one element. Initially, when I first came to Mumbai, I was more kind of vegetarian. I didn't eat much meat.
Mm-hmm.
So the Indian cuisine was perfect for that. You know,
Okay.
there's lots. I used to enjoy my favorite dishes.
Something with paneer?
Paneer, yeah, definitely paneer. Paneer dosa, masala dosa. Um, or the other South Indian food like an uttapam.
They are quite good on your. I mean, they're not that spicy. They're
Exactly,
easy
yeah,
to
right,
digest.
exactly. There's upma, plenty of South Indian dishes, and then the local favourites, vada pav and pav bhaji.
Mm-hmm.
So the food wasn't the problem, and also I had the luxury of having a maid who used to cook for me. So
Okay.
that's another one of the
What changed?
What do you mean? What changed?
I mean, you still have a maid.
I do have a maid. She doesn't cook for me because I guess as I've got older, I've become a little bit more fussier about my food. In that I want it to be cooked properly. I don't want them to use too many unsaturated, unhealthy fats.
Just a note: saturated is the unhealthy fat. He thinks differently.
We think very differently. We think very differently.
Uh,
Um,
but you said you were a vegetarian. What do you mean?
I, in recent years, I've now put meat into my diet.
Mm-hmm.
But finding good quality meat in Mumbai is very difficult. I think it's
Why?
impossible to get beef because
Okay.
of the
Restrictions.
because of the restrictions. You know, cow is holy. It's difficult to get good pork as well because of obviously Muslims don't eat pork.
Mhm.
So if you eat out,
Mhm.
you're not going to see beef or pork on the menu.
So what about the other thing? I mean, the most common chicken.
Chicken, of course, yeah, you can get chicken, but it's difficult to get high quality. I like to eat organic if I can. That's a challenge. So eating good quality organic produce, whether that be meat or whether that be vegetables. You can vegetables is a bit easier, but it's still not as easy as it is back home in the UK. If you want to eat healthy in the UK, if you're prepared to spend a bit of money, you can do it. In India, even if you have the money, it's more challenging to get good healthy food. So in recent years, that's been a challenge for me. So I do kind of try and escape and get out of India where I can, and sort of refuel on high quality food.
You said you still shop for your vegetables out in the street. What about the quick commerce and quick these groceries that
Yeah,
deliver to your doorstep in 10 minutes? I mean, isn't that fascinating to you? And isn't that of high quality? Isn't
it's
that
not
good?
everyone. It's not fascinating in the UK as well, right? Everyone, you can get anything delivered to your door these
In 10
days.
minutes?
Yeah, okay, maybe it takes 15 minutes. Sorry, but it's still quick.
But fascinating somehow,
Why is that fascinating?
for 1.4 billion people to have that kind of. I mean, for UK, it's easier to implement such a system. Say hi to that dog.
Hello, fella. Okay,
Uh,
great. I'm sure
okay.
off you go.
It's stylish,
Uh,
but to have such a setup here for in such a crowded market, even when one of the quick commerce Zepto, when they started and they said we'll be delivering to your doorstep in 10 minutes, I was like, come on, 10 minutes take it takes 10 minutes to cross our street. I mean, sometimes and so
to me, it's less impressive here because there are so many people.
oh,
So
so
many people living here.
you're saying the resource wise we are much more
Yeah,
capable
of
and
course.
much more
You've got a lot more manpower now to be able to deliver things quickly and on time. So to me, that's
nice
less
insight.
impressive.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And talking about navigating India and its food, we talk about climate. How about the administration and bureaucracy?
To me, this is more of an issue as for our company, and also for the charity that we set up, Reality Gives,
Mhm.
dealing with the bureaucracy, the red tape on a month by month basis is it's a challenge. There's so many things you have to file, so many compliances. The rules change every 2 seconds. That is a pain. As an individual,
Mhm.
it's less of a challenge. You know, when I used to be on a work visa
Mhm.
and I used to have a bank account, getting a bank account was a bit of a pain.
Mhm.
Um, that's pretty much it. There's not, and when you want to rent a new place, it's a lot when you people are the landlord or the building in which you stay are very concerned about what religion you are,
Ah,
whether you're a single, whether you're a bachelor. That can be
yes.
sometimes be a problem. So when I was living with my partner, who's Indian, we rented a place.
Mhm.
We had to say we were married. You know,
Ah.
to sort of, we had to put on that front that we were a good married
You
couple.
thought otherwise that you won't be allowed?
It just becomes a hassle. People for some reason like to get into your business. That's
Mm.
one thing I don't like about here is um, people can be very judgmental. Who cares if I'm a single guy? Who cares if we're not married? Why are you bothered about that? So that
I'm sure they might have their reasons, but I can't think of any right now.
okay, maybe single men are gonna be more loud or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That feels a little discriminatory. I can't even say the word. More discriminate to me than just taking me as I am.
But we were talking about bureaucracy and
Yeah.
administration.
So yeah, as an individual, it's not a problem. As a company, as a charity, it's a problem.
Have things changed? Have things gotten more difficult,
Not,
more easier?
I mean, you employ an accountant who
Hmm.
deals with this stuff,
Hmm. And you
um,
said,
which obviously helps. But there's still plenty of red tape, which I think is unnecessary. Again, if I compare it to the UK, the amount of red tape that a company has to do, because I have a company also in the UK, very small. The amount of red tape we do in the UK compared to India is tiny.
all right, let's talk about this. That um, you you mentioned Krishna,
Yeah.
and starting with him,
Mm.
your first interaction with an Indian, he was your waiter. He was
Right.
waiting your table.
Right.
After that, how are things now? Are you settled? Many people.
When I first came to India, I'd known Krishna before. Where I'd stayed previously, I knew the family there, so I had some connection there. Um, and also I joined. Actually, I set up an expat group for expats. There was a Facebook expats group, which I one of the co-founders of that.
Mhm.
So I got a community of expat friends,
Mhm.
which was great because we had something in common. We were all living in India. We were all having the same problems, concerns.
You all felt alienated at some point.
At some point, but that sort of brings you together because you can have a bit of a groan and moan about the various things. Like any country, there are issues that you have to deal with. So we would meet and have a few drinks and talk about the funny stuff and the challenges. And So that actually made things very easy. The one downside of having expats as mainly your friend base is everyone leaves.
Everyone leaves
Yeah.
at some point.
So that's what happened. Is I would be the idiot staying, and everyone would be leaving. So right now, I kind of got tired of that whole thing, and now I pretty much keep myself to myself. I don't have that many friends in Mumbai. I have my partner who I met in Mumbai. She decided very soon after we got together to go overseas. So I was
Did
coming
you
to
guys get married with the
no,
landlord thing?
irrespective of getting married, she
Mm.
she had to go overseas for various reasons, and
Mhm.
so I was left here.
Ever thought of following her, leaving India?
Of course, there've been periods of time over this last 20 years where I have spent some time overseas. Again, for different reasons. I spent some time in the Philippines, where I helped this other organization who are doing slum tours. So in Manila, discovering Manila, which was fascinating. When my parents got sick, I went back to the UK and spent time with them. So yeah, so there's been various times.
But mostly you're in India?
Mostly in India, a mix India, Philippines, and then my partner, she was in Toronto. I spent a few months there as well.
How does that work? I mean, you being here, she being there.
It's fine. I've always been in long-term relationships. When I was at university, I had a relationship with a girl in Spain, and that seemed to work.
That's why you learned Spanish?
That's I was actually reading Spanish at university, but yeah, another reason to learn Spanish. So that was cool. But yeah, it's people say, how do you cope? And me, it is what it is. Right? You kind of adjust. These days with technology, you can easily get on a Zoom call or a Google Meet.
Any thoughts of a couple of decades? That's enough. No, let's
possibly, yeah. I mean, if the company can work without me, then there's a strong temptation to go overseas. And like now, I do spend a lot bigger chunks of time overseas. I'll go away to Cambodia or Thailand for a month. Because she's now my partner. She's now in Phnom Penh, so I go and spend some time with her. But right now, I still need to be here. The things that
you're still being needed here.
I'm still needed here. If I can get to that point where I'm not needed here and the company can run without me, or run with me working from overseas, then that would be great. But we will see.
All right. You said you're kind of lonely here in Mumbai.
I never said I was lonely.
You said right now. I mean, all the expats left, and
that doesn't mean I'm lonely.
You don't have any friends. You mentioned
I don't have many friends. I don't have many friends here, because by nature I don't need that company all the time. I'm quite happy in my own company. So that's one thing. And I've got plenty to do with work. That's kind of that keeps me busy.
Isn't that culturally speaking? Isn't that the opposite of what people usually seek here in India? I mean, people are more welcoming. They are more nosy. I mean, your neighbors would know what you're up to, and you're saying you're not interacting with them. I mean,
but it's no. I think there's a subtle difference. People want to know your business, but that doesn't mean you're friendly with your neighbors. Like I don't remember the last time I spoke to my neighbors.
Even in such urban cities, even we have seen that we're not aware of our neighbors. We don't talk to them. That's usual.
I actually quite like it here because there's no, again going back, there's no fakeness. Like in the UK, you'll say hello to your neighbor, good morning, good morning, good morning. It'd be very superficial, and no one really cares. Whereas here, you just grunt at your neighbor. You don't
head
interact
nod and
with them.
that's it.
Yeah, the head nod, and it's completely fine. You don't have to be polite. I kind of enjoy avoiding all that nonsense.
Okay. We talked about setting up company,
Hmm.
uh, being in a long distance relationship, your expats friend group leaving you.
Yeah.
Which one of these or something other tested you more personally? Which was most difficult?
I don't think any of these things have tested me. They've just been as I've got. When I was younger, I was with a good social group. I was going out, having fun, and for that time of my life was completely suitable. Now I'm a bit older, a bit wiser. I'm quite happy in my own company.
Mhm.
My passion is about driving the business forward.
Mhm.
Then it's also completely fine. It's yeah, different stages of my life. They're different. The earlier part was more fun, but I would
Wasn't it more challenging too?
yeah, of course,
I mean, you had that energy. You said you were young, so
yeah, I think my energy has stayed pretty much constant.
okay.
I'm passionate about what I do. I'm very fortunate to be in that position. I love what right now the NGO is in a transitional phase where we're doing something different, and that also drives me. Um, the tour company is now facing challenges with the with the I compare it to Uber a little bit. We've got TripAdvisor and Get Your Guide, and a lot of these businesses taking over the tourism industry, and that has been a big challenge. So I see the market changing a little bit.
So them being the Uber of tourism.
Just in the sense you have this big tech company coming in, or tech companies coming in and kind of almost taking over the market. You know, they have no interest in India, they have no interest in Mumbai, yet they're the ones making the most money from the place, which is I would argue comparable to Uber. You know, the local taxi drivers have been driven out, or their margins have been squeezed, and the same thing is happening with the local tourism businesses. And there's now the barrier to entry, to use that technical term, for companies or individuals to set up their own tourism business is so low. You can be a new person. You say you're going to start doing tours. You list yourself on TripAdvisor and Get Your Guide. You create some fake reviews to give yourself a little bit of notoriety.
Yes.
And you're the same as an organization that's been running for 20 years, that gives back to the community, and has a certain ethics which I think is different to many. So
And
that's
I'm pretty sure you can't do nothing about it.
well, that's so then you either change or you die, right? So again, the tourism business, we're having to change to this new reality, which I don't like. I don't like TripAdvisor. I don't like Get Your Guide. But what can I do? You know, nothing's going to change for me. As somebody once told me once, India's not going to change for you. Like I have my issues with India. I like to have a good moan about India, but India's not going to change for me. And similarly, the tourism market is not going to change for me. We have to adjust as a company, as an organization.
Okay. Talking about change, you mentioned, you know, recalling our conversation that when the Times Now thing happened, the
Yeah.
Goswami thing happened, you hadn't any social entity set up, giving back to the community, that part when you
Yeah.
set up. Digging your mind right now, uh, was that the initial thought, or because of that Times Now incident you set up? I mean, what happened first? Did you always thought that you'll be giving back to community, or after that incident you thought, let's give back to community, so you have some concrete advocacy going on for you?
I don't remember the timeline exactly. It could well have been that even at that point we were giving back to the community. I really don't remember. But I can honestly say that was always my drive. You know, I genuinely didn't come to India to set up a business and make loads of money. Having done this volunteer work, and also I have an independent source of income, which then allows me to then, think about how can we really give back to the community.
Okay. So, what's the easiest way to give back to community? I mean, you cannot hand over cash to everyone.
No, but as a company, we have a policy where 80% of the profits go back to the community.
How does that?
So we set up initially when we first started, we spoke to the community and asked them what they wanted. And they said they wanted computer classes, then they wanted English classes for their kids. So we started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But then if we wanted to expand that, then we actually set up an organization, set up a charity, an NGO. That was formally set up. We started in 2005. We set up the NGO in 2009. And we provide, English classes, computer classes, opportunities to those who wouldn't otherwise in Dharavi initially. Now we're in Delhi also, so we do the same thing in Sanjay Colony, and also in a village in Uttar Pradesh called Nauchil. So basically, we're running educational programs for young people and the youth to help them thrive, to give them those skills.
That's a good deed and a good thought. But you still mentioned that setting up those entities was also difficult. Navigating with the government and working with the government. Is that true? I mean, even for such a thing to be set up, it's difficult to do
There's just as many compliances for a charity than there are for a company.
Aren't those compliances and regulations for the better good, or that such companies do not do people, and
it's arguably even worse. When we set up you have to get a permission from the government called a 12A, which basically, it's a technical term. It allows you to receive money from donors without paying tax. That, for example, for that one, we had to jump through a lot of hoops to get that permission, and we had to get an accountant involved to negotiate, if you see what I mean, with the authorities to get that.
Okay.
Things have changed. Things have changed, but back in the day, we had to do that. And
keeping the negotiation part aside, but even the regulation and compliances. I mean, of course, you for something to be set up that you're gonna take donation and not pay tax for it. I mean, tax evasion is a important thing, and that's why isn't it true that making things difficult, the process difficult, is better somehow protecting the entire industry and the government also?
But difficult how? Like, difficult because they want to ask you legit questions about whether you're good people or whether you're doing, helping the community. If that was the case, no problem.
Then,
but not awkward for the sake of being awkward, right?
Okay.
In this case, the example I gave was nothing about. It wasn't difficult because we weren't doing good work in the community. It was difficult because we had to negotiate. That's where the difficulty was. Like I say, I want to emphasize things have changed in that sense. Things are a lot more above board. That's where things have definitely improved. But there's still a lot of red tape, and I think the process could be made a lot smoother. But you need five sets of accounts that have been photocopied, all signed. These are examples, which just seem unnecessary to me. It feels like the system is kind of maybe stuck in the past. I'm sure, with a more up-to-date computerized civil service, then things could be a lot smoother. But again, these are small issues. Red tape is a problem. We have to deal with it. Fine. Again, India's not going to change for me.
Okay, going back for reflections.
Yeah.
Reflecting on your journey. What's the biggest positive and negative takeaway?
One-liners. Biggest positive. I'm here because of the work we do. So I can't. That's the reason why I get up in the morning. So I love customers coming on our tour having a good experience. I love people going to Dharavi or to Sanjay Colony, and that you see people who are moved by what they see. I think it challenges their perceptions of what people need. About certainly, it's challenged mine in the sense that I don't need a fast car, I don't need a big house, I don't need fancy clothes, and I think it has to some people. Everybody takes their own conclusion from what they see.
Mm.
But I think just seeing people moved by what they see in these places, to me,
That's a good feeling to have.
completely. Because even if some people donate, which is great, but even if people just go back to their own country and it's just changed them a little bit, oh, maybe I'll, think a little bit more about before buying this fast car.
How has Dharavi changed you? I mean, you're talking about people thinking differently. Did you, do you now think differently? I
I think so, yeah.
What's going on inside you?
Well, I think I've never been that materialistic. Like anyone, I like a bit of money to go traveling and to, not struggle. But I don't think I've ever been that materialistic. But I think
You even feel more that you don't need to be materialistic.
yeah, exactly. I don't, like I said, I don't need a fancy car. I don't need to live in a big house. I live in a very modest accommodation. I don't need nice fancy watch. I don't have an iPhone. I have a Mac because a Mac is better than Windows, but I don't need these.
So
I don't need it to show off. I don't need to exhibit my.
if they can survive on such a little amount of resources,
Yeah.
then you're doing a whole lot better with what you have right
I
now.
think so. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I couldn't get by what these guys living in Dharavi, how much they earn. I couldn't survive like them. So I'm still, in a lot more better position, and I have.
Thankful for what you have right now.
Of course, completely. Yeah, it makes you thankful for what you've got. It makes you realize that you're doing okay. The cards that I've been dealt are very, very good, and I'm extremely lucky that I was born where I was born with parents that I had. I was a middle class kid in the UK, and I'm very fortunate. With the hands that I've been dealt.
Nice. What to say? After 20 years, would you say you're an Indian now?
No
No?
chance. I mean, well, for a start, everyone knows I'm not an Indian. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out I'm not Indian. I don't speak the language.
The sense of belonging to this place and this place being your own.
No, I definitely feel an outsider. I think it's because I don't speak the language. Indians, again, if I compare Indians to other countries, that once you're friends with an Indian, in that sense, you feel part of them. You don't feel an outsider. Like, even though my skin is obviously I'm an Indian, if you have good Indian friends, then they don't make you feel an outsider. Whereas in other countries, I know, like Thailand is always my go-to example. I think Cambodia, it's the same. Is that you'll always be the Falang. You'll always be the foreigner, the Goda, as they say here. Whereas in India, I don't think that's the case.
Thanks. Good to know. And yes, about this also, very important question. You've been busy making some changes, much needed changes, giving back to the community. What would be your advice to someone who's in the same mindset and the same process, due direction of doing a similar thing? What would your advice be?
I mean, I would say do it. I would say the normal, you only live once, don't live with regrets. Try it and see if it works for you. For sure.
Helps you sleep good, the sense of feeling that you're doing something good.
Yeah, I mean,
makes you sleep better.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit, I don't know, self-indulgent and hey, aren't I great? But yeah, I have a purpose in life. Other people also have things. I don't have children. I don't have that. In that sense, I don't have that purpose. So this is what gives me purpose in life, right? Other people have. It's not for me to tell anyone how to live their life, but everyone I think, has to find their purpose, right? Whether it be having a family, or if someone has that drive to want to go to another country and try something similar or do some volunteer work, then I think it's worth exploring that avenue.
It's, I'm sorry, but it's almost saint-like journey. I mean, I don't think anyone else can do it. I mean, me personally, I've told my partner, the wherever you go, I'll be there with you.
Okay.
But what you're doing right now, it's almost saint-like. I mean, you said no family, no future. I mean, is that in plan?
I'm not going to, I mean, I'm 50 now. My partner's 54, but not going to be careful. She's a similar age to me. So, children are off the cards. Maybe at some point
Mm.
we'll adopt. I don't think so, but, I like that flexibility of traveling so much.
But yeah, this
this
is
gives
very
me-
unusual.
but this gives me my drive. This journey, if you like, that I've chosen is what gives me my drive.
But
my
this is not normal. I mean, not to be with your family. I mean, what people look out for is to do a similar thing
Hmm.
and still be doing the other normal things like having a family side by side.
Hmm.
Do you think that not having that aspect of your life has helped you
Yeah,
more?
that's something going forward. You're right. This isn't sustainable.
Hmm.
You know, it will change. I think reasonably soon in the future. But
What?
like being with my partner,
Hmm.
I need to spend more time with her. So whether it's a case of spending more time in Cambodia,
But a huge chunk of your life
yeah,
you have dedicated to this. I mean, would you be asking other people to do a similar thing or take a similar approach?
no. But again, everyone needs to live their own lives. I mean, it's up to them. I would say I'm happy.
Hmm.
You know, yeah, it would be nice if I wasn't in India maybe quite so much, and I was spending more time.
So, for someone, if you were to give the advice that, okay, if you want to do something similar like me, like setting up a company,
Mm.
fulfilling your passion, setting up an NGO, social business, you need to have mm, this thing of not having any other cause or distractions
No,
or
no, things would have been a lot better. And there were periods in the last 20 years when I've been living with my partner together.
Mm.
That's obviously better. But it just so happened that our circumstances were different. Right? She had to go to Canada, then she had to go to Phnom Penh,
Mhm.
and I had the business here. Right? It just so happened, but under most normal circumstances, yeah, you would have a
these
relationship.
two things are not connected somehow.
No, definitely. It just so happened that's what happened.
Yes. How do you feel about all of this? You know, these chores and the small windows, the broken window pane. Uh, what do you think of this? I mean, it makes me feel grateful of the life of I'm having, but
Completely. Respect for those people that are living in there, toughing it out. And again, I think this is another thing that you learn is everyone has the same issues, right? Everyone wants to do better in life. Everyone wants their family to do better. And I'm sure the people living here are struggling and trying to get a better life.
one of the interesting questions that one of our customers from a Japanese group asked one of us, asked me particularly, was is there any sense that people from these communities, these chawls, these slums, they are all they want is to come out of it,
Mm.
and they are preparing for it, they're working hard for it.
Mm.
First of all, is that the only thought? First question. The second question was, so once they come out of it, are they going for other parts of Mumbai? And I said, come on, Mumbai is not that easy. I mean, it's not that affordable.
Mm.
So, what do you think? These two things.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the individual circumstances, right? I don't know what their ceiling is. I don't know. Maybe the man, the woman of the house, their jobs is the limit that they can reach, and maybe they're happy with that.
But
Maybe they're happy.
but the
living
dream to come out of all of this, and
I don't know. We all have our own dreams. I don't know what their dreams are. Some people, this will be a stepping stone to then get onto the next. Like everyone, you start, and generally speaking, you start in a smaller house. You try, and over time, you try and do better and better. Man. I don't think this is any different to the UK. Or everyone has their own dreams.
So shouldn't they be demotivated at this point away, and
Maybe they are
and-
demotivated.
and maybe consume the thought that that's never gonna happen?
Maybe you might be right. Some people might be like, I'm not sure I understand your point. Some people might be like that, and other people won't be.
Uh, how do you feel? Is the government treating them properly? I mean, they're still illegal inhabitants. What do you feel? Is the government doing right with them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember the legality of slum
Slum.
dwellers' rights. I know that the rules keep changing. I know if they were here before a certain date, I can't remember whether that's 1995 or 2000. The date keeps changing. Then they have certain rights. I can't really answer that question.
About the Haravi and its redevelopment. What's next?
At some point, Dharavi is going to get redeveloped. Adani, big, massive corporation here in India,
They have been given
the rights to develop Dharavi. A lot of people in Dharavi, residents, are in favour, but there are quite a few that are against.
What's up for your company?
Yeah, I mean, Dharavi will get redeveloped. So obviously then the Dharavi tours will no longer take place. That, we're not going to show people normal houses. So either we find another suitable area, maybe going more north, Andheri, or I think that's probably the most likely option. If not, we stop doing the tours, and like I said earlier, the tourism business is changing. It's impacting us, and maybe we stop doing tours and we focus on doing our multi-day tours, which I think is where the growth of the company lies, where we take people all over India.
Has this thought come to your mind that you've been hearing this redevelopment news for a very long time and no action was taken? So you're quite chill about this, the progress, and it's still a long time and long in the future. I mean,
I've always been chill about it. Soon after we first started, there were talks of Dharavi redevelopment, and if people in Dharavi get better housing, and then great for them, right? I'm not going to be bitter and resentful because people
just because you have a company there.
Right, exactly. We would, like anything, flow with the punches, right? This happens, then we go elsewhere and we do something else, and we change our focus and we change our location. So I'm very relaxed.
And I think that would be all. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris.
Pleasure.
It was nice meeting you. And I think I'll be seeing you all in the next episode of Reality Talks. Till then, bye-bye.